He is the life of parties he has never attended. If he were to punch you in the face, you would have to fight off the strong urge to thank him. Sharks have a week dedicated to him. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer those Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
He is the man, the iconic figurehead of the Dos Equis beer campaign, seen in his commercials performing all manner of feats across a wide variety of interests, considered by many to be a mix of Indiana Jones and James Bond. Is he a Sigma male? Stick out till the end of the video for some advice on how you too can be more interesting from the most interesting man in the world himself. As a Sigma male, I don't usually consume content, but when I do, I prefer to K, to give me that Sigma soul sustenance. Keep leveling up, my friends. I want to start by saying that, unlike other more popular male figures, the Dos Equis man is perhaps one of the more difficult men to classify. Now, he does have many qualities that would make people instantly think he falls under the alpha male category, but here I am to crash that party and argue that through deeper speculation, the Dos Equis man is actually a Sigma male. If you're excited to hear why, hit that like button. If you feel uncomfortable, probably because you're an alpha thinking to yourself, shit, another MVP isn't one of us after all, then go ahead and double click that dislike button. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Reason number 1. To be the most interesting man in the world requires a man who has an interest in a wide variety of fields and activities, and also has the guts to go and pursue them. In order to quench this thirst for experiences requires one to live a nomadic lifestyle, traveling to different countries and involving oneself in different societies, cultures, and pretty much different hierarchies. This ability to assimilate anywhere is a prominent Sigma male trait, as I discussed in a video of mine. The second reason, being a nomad and having this amount of free time to engage and actually get good at all these activities means that the Dos Equis man either 1. Inherited a mass fortune that would sustain this lifestyle, or 2. Be self-employed or is a shareholder in multiple businesses, or 3. Finds a job in every new country he visits. Whichever of these is the case, the one certain thing is that he does not get tied into any particular system or organization to make a living. If he does get involved, he does so only temporarily with no strings attached. His ultimate mindset is that of freedom. The third reason why the Dos Equis man is a Sigma male is that it is not his primary intention to dominate any hierarchy he gets involved in, but it seems as if he just wants to get as much knowledge and experience from it and generally have as much fun as he can. In general, alphas like a Sigma because he isn't competing for their position or control. They know that a Sigma will just move on. Alphas, feeling secure about their position around a Sigma, usually are willing to accept him into their inner circle and teach him things they will usually keep to themselves. This allows the Sigma to further learn and experience things at an accelerated rate. It is a fact that having a mindset of competition and hierarchy climbing is very restricting and always puts a person on guard. Look at it this way. If you always have a shield on you, it weighs you down. If you always wear a helmet, your vision is limited. It's the same thing, guys. If you lower your guard and just enter a hierarchy to have fun and focus on self-expansion without inflicting harm on others, you will ironically gain more influence in any group. This natural influence and charisma makes you appear alpha to others, although you don't want to see it that way. Which leads me to reason number 4, the fact that the Dos Equis man doesn't stay basking in the glory of his current accomplishments, but chooses instead to dip his toes in new, unexplored territory and be okay with having his ego at risk as a clueless beginner all over again. Alpha males do not like hierarchy jumping, especially when they are already currently in control of one, because moving out jeopardizes their alpha position and all the perks associated with being the top dog of that pyramid. Above all, An alpha moving out of his hierarchy risks becoming a beta male in the new hierarchy, and with that in mind, many alphas choose to stay either in their current organization, hometown, or country, even if they have the means to move out. In my opinion, both the alpha and the sigma are dominant archetypes. The main difference and nuance is that the alpha is dominant external, while the sigma is dominant internal. Once an alpha achieves dominance in the world through the form of power or followers, he has pretty much achieved his goal. But a sigma, on the other hand, aims to master himself. If he feels his ego is limiting him, then he will show the ego who is boss and challenge himself to explore the unknown. This may be something that some of you may not have known about yourself, probably because you are fighting the wrong battle, doing what society told you to do. Therefore, self-understanding is the first step from which to self-improve. Reason number 5. An important point to make is that the clips on the commercials are literally just the highlight reel of the man's life. The question is, what do you think he was doing when the cameras were not rolling? How do you think he spent the other hours of his day? Well, let me tell you. In order to get that good in several things, a man has to spend a considerable amount of time in solitude, reading or practicing repetitively and doing his own thing, which in his case is moving around and getting involved in different hierarchies to enrich his life. Being comfortable spending a large chunk of time alone and constantly shifting the environment one puts himself in are more sigma than alpha traits. Reason number 6. It is difficult to put a concrete label on him aside from the most interesting man in the world. The thing with sigma males is that it is hard to define us considering all the things we get into. We are not your mainstream CEOs, authors, athletes, and such. We are one and or the other plus more. The alphas and betas aspire to titles such as manager, founder, or CEO, but a sigma male, on the other hand, prefers going against the grain and pursues going beyond being more than words can explain, or representing a title that does not yet exist in the world. He wants to represent an ideal, a feeling, or a belief. Deep in a sigma's soul, he knows he was meant for more than just what society mapped out for the rest of the population. Being hard to define or having many layers to one's persona adds to the mysteriousness and natural charisma that comes with being a sigma male. This is why many, if not most of the famous movie protagonists are sigma males, because frankly, a sigma male's life and personality on average is way cooler and diverse than an alpha's. Reason number 7. The Dos Equis man engages with people of various cultures, ethnicities, both the rich and the poor, meaning that he is open-minded and not constricted to society's limiting beliefs regarding racism, sexism, and the like. He judges people based on who they are as people, not by skin color nor creed. His persona shifts around from serious in some to very light and happy in others. I don't know about you, but this for me looks like he is capable of shifting his personality to match different situations and people. This demonstrates that a sigma male's ability to be a social chameleon who engages in different hierarchies or social groups and interacts with all types of people on a very personal level, not like an alpha who just wants to dominate. Many people may look like they are responding positively to an alpha, and the alpha may appear to be getting what he wants, but that is all. True cooperation, deeper secrets, and the true personalities of people are shared usually only to sigma males who, because they enter the hierarchy not to compete, but to contribute. This is usually why a sigma male is given leadership roles without him asking for it. It's funny how not wanting power is one of the biggest reasons why a person is endorsed by others to be the leader. Number 8, and this one is interesting. Some of you might say, but he looks really outgoing and extroverted. Yes, I agree. But the thing about sigmas is that as we mature, we take on both introverted and extroverted traits, also known as being an ambivert. On all the clips, the youngest you see the Dos Equis man is around his 30s. I'm willing to bet that his first 30-something years were spent mostly as an introvert, traveling solo around the world, gaining knowledge and experience in order to get good and build his reputation in those activities. As you become better at things and are more comfortable in your own skin, you naturally open up more to social situations due to increased self-confidence. This self-confidence, backed by actual tangible results, make people admire you, which acts as further social proof to encourage you to get more comfortable being in extroverted spaces. It is like you unlocking access to a whole new level from which to further expand yourself. Also, as I mentioned earlier, these are just the highlight reel. Probably he is chilling alone during his downtime, spending probably 20 to 30% of his time in the spotlight and the rest of the time by himself or with close friends. Reason number 9. Again, it goes without saying that a Sigma male is a man of mission and purpose, not a man of women. Ironically, he still gets his fair share of female admirers. When you look at each commercial, 75% of it is of him doing his thing, and only in the last quarter usually is he seen relaxing with women. If you learn at least one thing from the Dos Equis man, it should be this. At least 75% of your time should be spent focused on doing your own thing. Then dedicate the last 25% of your day or even life to enjoying that well-deserved rest, with or without the women. So just be patient, guys. Remember, men age like wine. Check out a video I made of that if you haven't already. You're sure to like that one. In general, people like hanging out with other people who are mission-driven. In other words, those who are ambitious and have something going for themselves. People also like being with those who don't judge them and don't give off a competition vibe. When people like you, they usually open doors to cool experiences, or can introduce you to friends of theirs who can also open doors to other cool experiences and more friends. This accelerated rate of learning and gaining rich experiences makes you more intriguing and mysterious as you experience things at a rate that outpaces your ability to tell them. Reason number 10. He is theoretically a one-man army. One Dos Equis man equals 8 or more men from the normal hierarchy. His life experiences alone are equivalent to the total life experiences of 4 or 5 normal men. He is seen doing things by himself without any help, in most cases without delegating tasks. He likes to have first-hand involvement in everything he does. He is self-sufficient and self-reliant. He is the embodiment of freedom, as he is not constricted to the status quo of any society. Instead, his only restrictions are those his mind creates, and he doesn't seem to have any. Now, the Dos Equis character may be fictional and such a larger-than-life character that many of us aspire to and should aspire to become, as he for me is the pinnacle of the trap mentality that I talked about in a previous video, which you should check out if you haven't already. But even the man who played the role, Jonathan Goldsmith himself, seems to be quite the Sigma male. I'll pull up a few clips without my voice over for you to come to your own conclusions.
Today we've captured the elusive man of international mystery, Mr. Jonathan Goldsmith.
And he never does big interviews, but Nichelle Turner, you got him.
Yeah, we did. I had to go quite a ways to get him, but we got him. His name is Jonathan Goldsmith, and his real story is every bit as interesting as the one we see on TV.
Misconception is that I like the lounge scene and that I'm very comfortable in that milieu. Not necessarily so. This is what I'm comfortable in. Nature, solitude, quiet. That's what I really like. But I can pull off the other. It's fun to play it. I don't know if I wouldn't want to live it. What is your interest in South America? I says, well, I've always loved South America, and I used to hunt jaguar there.
Very involved with tigers. I'm with an organization called Sabre Foundation, trying to help save the Siberian tiger. I hand-fed a 3-pound tiger cub, revisited him 7 years later at 700 pounds, and fed him once again out of my hand. I love tigers. I always have, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them.
Wow, what a rare experience. How many people could say that, right?
What made you decide to leave Hollywood for?
Well, a number of reasons. Number one, have you ever been on the freeway here at traffic hour?
Yeah.
That's one.
Okay.
Number two, the wonderful success that I was able to have with this, I lost a little anonymity and I wanted a little quiet time. And I'm a quiet guy, basically, and that's where I wanted to be. I used to go fly fishing up there in the summer with my dad, who had an old farm nearby, and I had wonderful memories.
We went to the strip club, me and the most interesting man in the world, at an Atlanta strip club at 3 in the morning.
And is he the most interesting man in the world?
Dude, he reconnected a father with his son. It was weird. He was amazing. This guy.
At a strip club?
He was sitting, we was at the club. Sounds made up, but please follow me on Instagram. I documented it. It was awesome. This guy is awesome. He really is interesting.
Wow.
He was over there and he was like, hey man, that guy is with his son right now. And it was just this old white dude and a young white dude. And I was like, that's a little racist and presumptuous. And he said, I'm gonna go talk to him. I was like, don't. He walks over there and he starts talking to them. At first, they're very uncomfortable. And then they started laughing. And then they started getting lap dances.
Before long, you were driving a garbage truck.
Well, I did that right off the bat, yeah. I go to my auditions and spray myself in the back of the truck and change and go in for an audition.
Was that pretty humbling?
Yes, very. It was. Yeah.
You also worked construction?
I did, yeah. I did pretty much everything. I was probably the most inept waiter and busboy of all time. I did that. I did that throughout New England when I was a kid, when I was 18 and 19. Throughout my life, I never really felt that I was as good as a lot of people told me I was, and by a lot of the things I won some awards, Peabody Award for shooting something in the Philippines, but I always had self-doubts. And I said, you know, they're gonna find out I'm not really the most interesting man in the world. But I was having fun with it. I threw myself into it, and it worked out very well. I've been working for at-risk kids since I was 18, and that is, my God, 61 years. Yeah, I taught at prisons. I went to places where kids were kept under lock and key, usually against their own parents, and it's been something that's been very important to me. I really started out in this world wanting to be a social worker.
You saved someone's life.
Two.
Mount Whitney, the story I'm referring to on Mount Whitney, which is the tallest mountain in the continental U.S. You saved a guy's life.
Yeah, I did. I was lucky I happened to be there. They saved a little girl that was drowning in Malibu. So those are nice things.
So, that's it for me, brothers. Let me end with some advice given by our featured Sigma male. But before I go, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks, brothers.
I think life is like a parade. Most people, they watch it go by. They live vicariously through other people. I don't. I never have.
You live vicariously through yourself.
That's true, and you have a very good memory.
I read that you said that if you want to be interesting, you should be interested.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're not aware and if you're not involved, how can you be somebody that anybody wants to listen to? Even yourself, you know. I always had an awareness that I didn't want to be boring, because like everybody, I knew people that were boring. I said, I never want to be that way. And the only way you're not going to be boring is if you know about things, experience things, lots of different things, getting out of the box and stretching and expanding your horizons. So like getting lost. I mean, some people, my wife, she panics if she doesn't know where she is. And I said, this road is connected to your driveway 3,000 miles away. It's just a matter of getting there. Experience the wonderness of not knowing. I've always liked that. You've got to get interested in things. You got to get off these things, these little computers and the ones at home, and read books. Have experience. Get out there. Participate in the journey. I think to be interesting, in all honesty, you have to be interested. You have to be interested in lots of different diverse things. And you have to read. You know, these computers that we're all so in love with, it's a two-edged sword. I do a lot of commencement speaking, and I tell these kids something I firmly believe in. You've got to read. Best advice I can give.